the North Koreans, of course, created one of the most extreme states, but only because we live in the media age. Welcome, part two. Um, we live in a media age where we can see that North Korea is like an open concentrate, a large concentration camp. But that's what the Soviet Union was like. That was what the what China is still like. They're still killing 1 million people a year, and they killed over 300 million people. So there must have been at least, since I got to that figure in 2000, 312 million people they've killed so far. If the average is consistent, that might just be a statistic. That might just be a terrible number, but I mean, put that in terms of what people are thinking and suffering. You know, there's a tremendous amount of people, and we're all sitting here comfortably in the West, and nobody seems to mind. Although, you know, other genocides like the Holocaust or in World War Two, or the Holocaust with the Armenians, are getting much more attention. Although those are really all part of a broader Holocaust that took place in the 20th century and is continuing in certain parts of the world. But the statement by Reagan has been used by Niall Ferguson to explain the madman theory, the theory like he tried to expose for McCain to use against Iran. He said, could you imagine Hillary Clinton going to Iran with a headscarf on and telling them that they wouldn't, if they close the Strait of Hormuz, will bomb their navy back into being rafts and bomb them back into the Stone Age? She would be laughed out of the room, and he'd probably be right, you know. Even though, I mean, Hillary Clinton's already, when she was running for the presidency, she said that she would like to vaporise Iran off the face of the earth. To, I don't know, politicking, or whether she's actually that crazy, I don't know. The problem is, once you create a proxy, it's going to want another proxy which is even more extreme. And of course, you've got Iran, where people, it has a constitutional system with a ceremonial head of state, or a religious head of state, I should rather say, and a parliament which on the face of it looks quite similar to the sort of medieval structure of the British, the hangover of the medieval era, the British Constitution in like the 17th century. But also it's got its quad force, the Revolutionary Guards, basically, who then control all the espionage activities of Hezbollah and the Assad crime family and everything else, and dominate Iraq, you know, and Alawi and all the other guys who have fed off the American umbrella of security, and then turned their hands and put their hands in the grasp of Ahmadinejad. But the problem is, of course, America is not free of its proxy. America might have a rational partner in South Korea and in Japan and in Europe and England, but it really has a real problem with the little basket case that wants to nuke Iran, and that is Israel. And as long as America is in a debate with itself about what is its place in the world, you know, Ron Paul supporters, and I support a lot of what Ron Paul says about American foreign policy, if I can place myself in an American perspective. Some of his statements about the EU are absurd, but he does talk a lot of sense from sort of Epicurean American founding fathers point of view, you know, the constitutional movement. although there is a bit of the Birch Society in his views, and Hayek in his economic views. But he's saying America needs a limited foreign policy. It can't afford the extent of military Keynesianism that it has. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with military Keynesianism as a concept, but in terms of how the Americans are using it, is extreme, and not necessarily cost effective.